guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great week so far. So today's video is going to be all about the ColourPop Spring 2017 collection. In case you guys haven't heard anything about it, ColourPop was releasing their spring collection in 3 different phases. I've talked about it briefly on Snapchat, but I was kind of waiting until all 3 were released before I decided what to purchase. But the other day, ColourPop was so kind and they surprised me with a package, including some of the 2nd phase and the 3rd phase, which is actually coming out on Friday. So each phase kind of focused around a different monochromatic look. So the first one was Nectar, the second one was Pink, and then the 3rd one is Sand, and that one actually comes out on Friday. So I wanted to make sure I went ahead and swatched these products for you before the Sand phase was released, in case you guys were interested. I know I don't have any Nectar products to share with you, but I am planning on purchasing a few, so I will share those in a later video. But I've tested them out, I've swatched them, so that way I can give you guys my opinion on which one I think that you guys need to check out and which ones you can skip over. But let me start with the Sand collection because I feel like a lot of people are really going to love this collection. So I'm wearing the Sand collection on my entire face today. The first thing I want to talk about is their heavy hitter Pressed Powder Eyeshadow Palette. So it is no secret that I am a fan of the ColourPop Pressed Powder shadows. They really are some of my go-tos. I just think they're good quality and I'm a huge ColourPop fan. So I was really like on the fence when they released the Pressed Powder shadows because I just love the original formula, but really I've been wearing them so often. So this palette comes with 3 different matte shadows and 1 metallic shadow. The 3rd matte shadow has like a gold glittery overspray on top. I don't know exactly why they did that because when you apply it, it looks completely matte on the eyes and they call it a matte shadow, but just keep that in mind. I feel like this is a great option to start with if you've been wanting to try their pressed powder shadows, but you don't know where to start. They have so many beautiful bold colors when it comes to their pressed powder shadows, but I feel like if you're looking for just a good everyday natural palette and something that you can use on its own, but you can also get a few different looks out of, this is going to be a great option in my opinion. All 4 of the shadows are beautiful quality. They're pigmented, they're blendable. You have a matte highlight, a shimmery highlight, but you can also use both of those on the lid, and then you have some beautiful warm browns to place in the crease or as a transition color, or of course you can use them on the lid as well. I think out of all of their pressed powder shadow palettes that they've created so far, this one is my favorite and it is the one that I would recommend, especially if you've been wanting to try their palettes. If there is only 1 or 2 shadows from this palette that you want, I assume they're going to be releasing them as singles because that's what they did with the previous 2 phases. And then in addition to that, they are also releasing 3 different single pressed powder shadows as well. 2 of these are metallic and then the center one is a matte shadow. I'm a huge fan of the center shadow. That one is called Conundrum and I think that this one blends beautifully. It looks gorgeous as a transition shade. I'm wearing it on my eyes today as a transition shade and it's just such a beautiful formula. I'm a huge fan of their matte formula. I feel like the other 2 are really beautiful as well. They performed perfectly fine on the eyes, but I kind of feel like the colors are something that I already have in my collection. So in my opinion, you could take them, you could leave them. It just depends on whether or not you're looking for shades like that. The pressed powder formula is not your thing. They are coming out with 2 different Super Shock shadows as part of the Sand collection. So the first one is in the shade Super Hardcore and the second one is in the shade Reversible. These are really gorgeous colors. I think they will look so pretty as highlights, whether you use them in the inner corner or under the brow bone, but also all over the lid. I think they also go really well with the pressed powder shadows that they release. So I think they're gorgeous. I have a lot of ColourPop Super Shock shadows that are kind of like highlight shades, but nothing looks like these 2 in my collection. So I personally find them to be unique. They are both in the pearlized finish, so they're not super intense, but they still give you a really gorgeous glow. So I definitely recommend both of these if you're looking for shades like this in your collection. One of the products that I was most excited for with their spring collection was to see what they would come out in terms of cheek colors. So I love the Super Shock cheeks. I think the blushes and the highlighters are really beautiful. I don't really get into the bronzers, and truthfully I'm not a huge cream face product fan. Like I don't love cream blushes and I don't love cream highlighters, but I do use ColourPop ones because they have some really gorgeous colors. I don't usually prefer them over powder products in my collection. So when I saw that they were coming out with blushes and highlighters in the pressed powder formula, I was really excited to try them out. I was excited to try their Double Play Pressed Powder Palette. This one comes with a blush and a highlighter. This one is probably my favorite out of the 2 that I've tried because it's just so beautiful for spring and summer. So I am wearing both of these products on my face today. The blush is called Getting Handsy and it's a really beautiful, warm, peachy nude blush. I feel like if you have a light or fair skin tone, you could probably use it as a warmer bronzer, but I just kind of dusted it all over my cheeks today and it is pigmented, it's blendable, it's really really beautiful. And then the highlight is in the shade Patted Down. This one is so gorgeous. I think I prefer the highlight over the blush in this palette. I do like them both, but there's something about the highlight that just goes on so nicely. It's very pigmented, very blendable. It looks gorgeous on the face, and I like both of these in combination with each other. I feel like the whole collection is just really seamless. Everything kind of goes together, and these two just go perfectly with the eyeshadow palette and the lip colors as well. If you've been wanting to try their pressed powder blush and highlight, I think they're worth a shot in my opinion. I haven't played around with them enough to give you guys like a complete full opinion on them, but my first impressions are that they are really beautiful. The packaging is really nice as well. It comes with a mirror that's perfect for traveling. It does tend to get a little bit dirty because it's kind of like a rubberized feel and it's white, so I noticed that mine has gotten a little bit of the blush on it, so I just thought I would throw that out there for those of you interested. In the last part of the Sand collection are 4 lip products, 2 ultra matte lips and 2 ultra satin lips. I have quite a few ultra matte lips and ultra satin lips in my collection, and I have to say that I feel like the 4 nude shades that they released are definitely unique to my personal ColourPop collection. So I haven't really been able to find anything that's exactly the same in my collection, which I was excited about because I feel like nude liquid lipsticks are like the best thing ever. The one that I'm wearing on my lips today is the ultra satin lip in the shade Strip, and then they also came out with an ultra satin lip in the shade Strut. They're very similar. In my opinion, I wouldn't say that you need both of them. Strip is a little bit more warm toned and Strut is a little bit more cool toned, so it just depends on what you're looking for. And then the ultra matte lips are in the shade Naughty, which is a really gorgeous pale nude, and then the shade Embellish, which is a very, very dark brown. I don't know what it is about this formula, but I feel like every time they release new colors, it just seems to apply even better, wear even longer, and I don't think they are constantly reformulating the lip product, but every single time I get a new shade, I feel like it's better than the last one. I think the color Embellish is pretty unique because in the tube it looks like a dark brown, but when it's on the lips, it's so dark. Like it almost looks like a black. So it's kind of a fun liquid lipstick. I don't have anything like it in my opinion, so I thought I would share those 4 with you guys as well. Okay, let me touch on their pink collection. So the first thing I want to talk about is their Pressed Powder Palette in Belle of the Ball. This one comes with 4 really beautiful pink eyeshadows. So it comes with 3 different mattes and 1 metallic. All of the pinks in this palette are really different from each other. They're really unique, so I feel like this is kind of like a palette that you would use in combination with other palettes. I don't see myself getting too many looks out of this palette because there's warm pinks, there's cool pinks. They don't really flow well to create one look in my opinion. Personally, I feel like 2 of these shadows could work well together, but not all 4 of them at the same time, if that makes sense. But to be fair, when I reach for pinks, I usually go for a cool toned pink or a really dark dramatic like fuchsia. I've really been into pink shadow lately. I feel like the monochromatic collection is meant to make something that's just completely monochromatic. So these shadows are going to match cheek colors and lip colors. So if you are more into like subtle pinks, this might be a great option for you. And I do have to say the pinks are perfect for spring and summer if you like to change up your makeup seasonally because they're a little bit lighter and just easier to wear. I think my favorite is the metallic pink. I would even recommend purchasing it on its own. That one is in the shade On the Fence. It's just really unique. I don't have anything like that in my collection. It would be beautiful as an inner corner highlight or even as a cheek highlight. So I love that shade the best. I think that Fair Play, which is the darker pink, didn't perform as well as the other pinks in the collection. So if you're purchasing them separately, I would recommend skipping that one and reaching for one of the single ones that I'll talk about in a second. But I do feel like the lighter 2 blended so beautifully, and those are the 2 that I would usually reach for if I was looking at this palette for an everyday look. So in my opinion, I would go for the Sand palette and skip over the pink palette, but if you were purchasing them separately, all 3 of them perform pretty well except for this darker fuchsia shade. So they also released 3 different single pressed powder shadows as well as part of the pink collection. So the first one is probably my favorite. That's what I would deem as a very wearable pink. This one is in the shade Labyrinth, and I would use it as a transition color and I would use it as a crease color. I think it's really beautiful to own on its own. The second shadow, Poodle, is definitely more smooth and pigmented than the darker pink in the palette. So if you were purchasing one of those, I would recommend Poodle. And then the last one is actually a satin formula. This one's in the shade Pebbles, and Again, it's a little bit more of a wearable pink. This isn't my favorite pink that they make, so I would probably skip over that one as well. They did come out with a pressed powder cheek duo as well. This one is called Done Deal, and it comes with a blush and a highlighter. So the blush is really bright. It's really beautiful. If you are a fan of bright pink blushes, I definitely think that you are going to like this one. I usually reach for more of a subtle pink blush, but if you are a bright fan, this one is gorgeous. It's very pigmented, very blendable, and it is a good option. And then the highlighter is in the shade Made Me Do It. Again, I think that this is a really unique color. Pink tone highlighters are so gorgeous, and I think that this is a beautiful color, even if you were to use it as a blush topper. That being said, it is very shimmery. It's just a gorgeous highlight. I think it would look really pretty all over the eyes, all over the lid, and all over the cheeks. So if you're looking for something a little bit more unique, I would recommend this one over the sand option. But if you're looking for something a little bit more subtle and wearable, I would recommend the sand duo. They also released a Super Shock Cheek. This one is in a pearlized finish in the shade Forget Me Not. This one is gorgeous. If you're looking for a unique pink highlighter or just a unique pink blush that's really very shimmery, I personally would use it as a highlighter. I think that this is a great option. I don't have a lot of their unique highlighter shades. I know they have other shades on the website. I have more of like the traditional wearable colors, but this one is so blendable, so beautiful, and I feel like if you're going for a gorgeous pink monochromatic look, this is going to be a great color to have in your collection. I really love this. I think it would look gorgeous as an inner corner highlight or a brow bone highlight as well if you do want to have it as an eyeshadow. And then they came out with 5 different lip products as part of the pink phase. So they came out with a new lippy pencil and lippy stick. These are both in the shade Birdie. The lippy stick is in a cream formula, and it's really gorgeous. I know they reformulated creams, and they're so shiny, so gorgeous on the lips, and I'm just a big fan of them. I've been reaching for more glossy or cream finishes for spring lately. Of course, I'm wearing like one of the satins on my lips, but in general, I like a nice glossy nude or light pink. So this is a really pretty color. Then we have the Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Love Muffin, the Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Chandelier, and the Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Fresh Cut. These are really gorgeous for spring and summer, of course. And again, if you're going for that monochromatic look, I feel like these are just going to go perfectly with the shadows and the blushes that they released. I don't find them to be too similar to other ColourPop lip products in my collection, like an exact dupe. I would say that Chandelier and Fresh Cut kind of remind me of either Alyssa or November. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but I don't think they are an exact dupe. They're all a little bit lighter than other pinks that I have in my collection. Personally, my favorite out of the 3 is the Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Love Muffin. I've been wanting a beautiful nude light pink like this for a while from ColourPop, and it's a little bit brighter than Midi, and it's a little bit more pink, so I feel like it's just a gorgeous color for spring and summer. Okay guys, that is everything that I have to share with you guys today. I hope this video was helpful. I usually like to do lip swatches, but I'm heading out of town tomorrow and I didn't have time to film all of the videos that I have for you guys and do lip swatches, but I wanted to still get this video out before they release the sand collection. I am planning on doing a video on my favorite ColourPop lip products for spring, and I'm going to include a lot of these products in that video, including lip swatches, so stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great week. Make sure you let me know in the comments below if you will be grabbing anything from this collection, because I would love to hear from you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.